In this demo, you will actually see how DPM uses role-based access control to actually enable customers to monitor and manage their environment in a secure fashion. This demo in particular will focus on one scenario, which is that of a recovery operator. While the scenario we'll focus on as a recovery operator, please remember that out of the box, DPM 2012 provides a rich set of roles all the way from a read-only operator, a tier 1 support, a tier 2 support, a DPM administrator, a recovery operator, a reporting operator, a tape operator, and a tape administrator. These are the default roles with which we ship the product, but you can customize the roles as you see fit for your environment using the operations manager. So let's get on with the demo. So I am the recovery operator for my organization. My day-to-day job involves I get tickets or emails assigned to me which carry the details of the databases and data sources that I actually have to perform a recovery on. So let's see how that is done with DPM 2012. So right at the top left, I see a search button. Now typically the recovery ticket that is assigned to me has got the name of the database that, for example, I might want to recover. In this case, I want to recover the payroll accounting DB underscore 11. So I actually go ahead and type the name here and then I press on search. I am seeing that the search returns immediately, and I can actually, this is indeed the database that I am interested in. I can verify that using the path here that essentially talks about what server it is on, what is the SQL instance in which the DB is residing, and the name of the DB itself. So once I'm actually sure this is the database that I want to recover, I can simply select the database here, and on the right hand side, I have an action called as recover data source. So I click on the recover data source button, and what happens at this point is DPM passes the context of the database that you selected in Central Console, basically Operations Manager, and then contacts the DPM server and tries to bring up an experience with which you can recover the database in a single click. So once the UI is loaded, you'll actually see that not only did we, kind of load up the UI, we actually took you directly to the recovery tab, and we have already selected the database for you here on the left side. So all you now need to do is pick up the data point in time to which you want to do a recovery and then press on the recover button. Now this recover button essentially opens up the familiar recovery wizard with which you can actually go ahead and do the recovery. So what you saw was an end-to-end experience of how simple it is to locate a database amongst multiple DPM servers that you're having and start a recovery process in just a couple of clicks. Now, this talks about how seamless it is to perform a recovery. Let's understand where role-based access comes here. So in this particular example, since I am configured only as a recovery operator, let me show what actions are and are not available to me. I'm going to cancel this wizard because I'm not going to do a recovery at this point. So let me actually go ahead and go to the protection tab. So the protection view is actually very familiar. I can see all the databases that are actually existing on this particular DPM server, but you notice that on the ribbon on top, I cannot perform a consistency check. I cannot perform a recovery point job. Indeed, I cannot perform any other action. The only action that I'm allowed to perform is that of a recovery. Similarly, let's assume that you are actually a tier 1 support person who's only allowed to rerun backups. You'll see that only the rerun backup option is enabled to you while all the other options are disabled. So only those actions that are configured for a user are indeed available for that particular person. So this is an example of role-based access in action.